Welcome friends, and welcome to my first Royal Court video. I know it's a tiny bit late, I do apologize about that. Usually I try to get out on Friday, but it's been a busy week unfortunately with my day job.
Keep making all these excuses.
What excuses?
So today I thought we'd go through some tips and tricks that I've been discovering that will make your path to ruling a lot easier with the new Royal Court expansion. And if you're new here and you're looking for some nice tips, tricks, and strategies for your grand strategy games, definitely hit that subscribe button as we have lots more coming. But let's jump into a quick renown farm here. Make sure that you're optimizing your renown straight away in the game. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do to optimize your renown in the game is to make sure that you are able to pay homage to a liege. Before Royal Court, there was a nice little hack that you could do to get some extra gold, get some extra experience, and that was to actually not be an independent realm, is to automatically just pledge yourself to a higher tier and then petition your and then get yourself on the council, your liege's council, so that you can get that extra gold. You can do that a lot easier now, but there's added bonuses with the new petition and pay homage systems. You are able to petition and pay homage to your liege. And once you get a court of your own, as we see here in the dialogue, you will also have people that pay homage to you.
You're here to bend the knee.
So, for example, this courtier has come to me, and they are gaining prestige out of it, and I am gaining some court grandeur. I'm getting some prestige myself, and I am getting some renown. Already I've managed to get 2 legacies in the game, and I haven't really been playing the renown game too much. I've been just exploring the Royal Court. So just passively by being within a empire, being within the Holy Roman Empire, and also establishing myself as a kingdom level, if I can click on the right one, kingdom level title, and having my own Royal Court, I have been able to actually get a lot of renown. The next thing that has changed is your fame levels. This is something I did notice in the patch note, that the fame level now has increased.
You guys aren't famous anymore.
The illustrious has gone from 2,000 to 3,000. The exalted among men has gone to 4,000 to 5,000. And off the top of my head, I don't remember what the original was, but it certainly wasn't 15,000 for Living Legend. That is insane. The first two, the illustrious and exalted among men, they actually aren't that punishing. In fact, I got them a bit quicker than I normally would because there's a lot more renown. There's a lot more prestige buffs in this game. Everything from having a baby to just your actual court experiencing, holding court, you're constantly getting extra renown on, or extra prestige. Jeez, I would love more renown, but you are gaining more renown, but you're gaining a ton of prestige just constantly coming in. So maintaining in the feudal society a high level of prestige isn't that big of a deal, but getting to living legend is going to be a bit of an issue now. That is going to take us a lot longer to get there. And I'll just jump into here, show you a bit of the court experience, and I'm going to jump over to the other side here. So here's my beautiful court here. And so you can hold court. This is something that's also important to do. Cost you 100 prestige to do. Don't worry about this. I don't think I've been in a court setting where you're not able to actually get your prestige back by choosing the right choices. All right, so you're going to have 3 different events here. The first one is just the start. The last one is just the finish message. So one of the issues that I've found is that when you're dealing with some of your holdings is you can't quickly just click on here and view your titles. So this becomes a tiny bit of an issue. All right, so what you can do is you can exit out here, find the county that they're talking about, and do you know what? We would need to put a temple here anyway, so we'll probably accept this because the other ones are going to give us stress, and we don't want any stress. The next thing I'd like to go through is your court positions. All right, the court positions, you'll have 2 filters here. You'll have your common, royal. You also have all. I always use the common and royal. Common are what is available to you on all titles levels, and the royal is only available when you have a kingdom or empire level realm. So the one thing that you're going to want to be careful on is the aptitude. The aptitude is slightly changed on the physician. Is a lot clearer on exactly what is happening with these skills. So stuff like your herbalist, renowned physician, your learning skill all comes into play, and you can see exactly how much they will come into play, right? So is it more important to have a person who, or courtier who is, say, has a 20 learning versus a courtier who has a 5 learning and a novice physician, right? What does that balance look out, and how effective are they going to be in that position? So that is a very nice change for us to have, so that we have an idea of how successful our treatments are going to be. One of the other changes, not all of your courtiers are going to be available. Some of your positions will be available to vassals. Some of them will be available to your courtiers. The court physician, for sure, is not available to your bishop. So your realm's religious leader is not able to be assigned to your court physician, which was a trick to get them on your side before. So that is a bit unfortunate and makes it a bit harder to get everybody on board when you start your game. So what titles do I start off with right away as soon as I start the game? And I have been starting off with the physician. Standard. You want to make sure that when you get sick, you have someone available there. The other one that I've been starting out, whether I have children or not, is the court tutor. And I'm going to get into that in a second, but the court tutor is going to be important for your sway schemes. The other one that can be really nice at the beginning is your personal champion. It's going to get you extra. It's going to get you extra prestige, and if you'd like, they can also take your place in duels. This would be one that you could easily drop off the list. The rest of them are going to be situational. Stuff like your seneschal could be nice if you're doing a lot of conquering or you're dealing with a lot of wars and control issues. Your court jester, if you're dealing with a ton of stress, is something that just constantly passively gets rid of stress.
A jester? A jester? A funny idea, a jester.
All right, what about once you get your court? What should you have right away? Your Master of Horse is going to be really nice. It's going to give you knight effectiveness, which is always beneficial if you are in a lot of wars. If you're not, don't worry about it. It's expensive. 0.75, it's expensive. Your Royal Architect. This is one, when you stack it with your architect line, your buildings are being constructed nonstop. You accelerate your realm really fast by having a Royal Architect. I would highly recommend the Royal Architect. It is worth the 0.75 gold per month. Highly recommend it. That minus 30% is amazing. I made sure I got an excellent one here. And when you're going through and you're looking for courtiers, make sure you're playing the marriage game, because you can go through and look, okay, well, what's coming into the aptitude, right? Well, if they have architect, that's going to give me a plus 40. If they have high stewardship, that's going to give me plus. If they're a vassal, that's going to give me a negative. So that's that busy ruling one. The rest of them in the royal court are just when once you get your realm established and you can afford a high salary. As you can see, I'm paying 7 gold a month in salaries here. When you're just trying to get your grandeur up, then you can bring on these extra titles. Before then, I wouldn't really worry about them. The titles that I went over are the ones that I would look at right away. Situationally, what's happening in your realm? Do you need them? All right, as I mentioned, the swaying is going to be a bit more difficult now. And the reason why, because opinions tend to be lower of your ruler. As we can see here, we have to deal with cultural acceptance. You still have the religious modifier, astray, male dominated, evil, stuff like that. You still have those, but you also have culture layered on top of that. I found that learning the target's languages has bumped it up just a bit. You get a +5 modifier, which has allowed me to sway a lot more people. Now, in my current situation, my court grandeur is so high that I'm offsetting a lot of the negatives that I'm getting while trying to sway. But that's something that you're going to have to be careful on, is swaying isn't going to be as cut and dry as it was before. And then, of course, if swaying's not cut and dry, neither is stuff like befriend and seduce and all that stuff. In fact, seduce I've found is really hard. If you, and it'll probably end up that if you really want to be successful on seducing, you will want to go down the seduction line in the intrigue trees. So, inspirations versus commissioning artifacts. The first thing that you can do is you can hire a local artisan who is going to have a lower chance, a chance of producing a lower quality artifact. However, don't be too scared about this. I haven't found that the quality is always lower on this. I've had some pretty good artifacts.
You underestimate me.
The advantage of this system versus the inspired system is you can go through and actually pick exactly what you would want them to build. So I don't have a crown. Maybe I want a crown. I could also do something like a furniture. I have stuff like that, but let's go with a crown because I don't have one and I'm a queen and I do not have a crown. How ridiculous.
This is outrageous.
How do you get inspirations? Well, your courtiers could naturally get inspirations. Another way that you can encourage inspirations is under the titles. So under the titles, if we go down to the bottom of the royal tab here, we have court artificer. You can have 2 of them, and this has a higher chance of becoming inspired based on aptitude. And then you can look at your courtiers and assign decent courtiers here if you wanted to. And then we now have a artificer. Sorry, I'm incorrect. You can have 3 of them. They will also give you a court grandeur bonus, but the main thing that you're looking for here is has a chance to become inspired again. The next thing that you can do is you can get a new filter. And inside of your character search, you can go through and you can do an inspiration. Has inspiration, and I can find out. All right. My courtier here has an inspiration. That's one I funded. Now, the other thing you could do is I have an unmarried female courtier. I could go and do everybody and say do a adult male and then inspiration. Has inspiration. Oh, it reset to top realm. There we go. Has inspiration. So I could look at, okay, this person wants to forge a hammer. This person wants to go on an adventure. So there are a few people that I can look at, say, now, unfortunately, because she's lowborn, she's probably not going to get, I'm probably not going to be able to marry these gentlemen, but him, I could probably target him with him. Unfortunately, in the marriage screen, if I go in here, there is no filter for has inspiration here. This is a filter that would be amazing if we could get added, has an inspiration, so that we don't have to go through and try to find the spells and then match them up, because it's a bit more difficult to do a marriage that way. It's easier to just go through the find spell system. So yeah, that would be a improvement that I hope that they add to this. It would just reduce those clicks just a tiny bit. The one downside that I've found to the inspiration system is they can be a money pit. Sometimes those courtiers of yours are just sucking the money out of you. So be very careful on the courtiers that you fund. Is I have wasted hundreds of gold to get nothing. All right, and another thing I'd like to quickly cover here is your marshal. There are a few new things here. And would you believe that I use organized levies decently often?
Liar. He's a liar.
Organized levies got a tiny bit of a buff here. So they do what they did before. I don't believe they did garrison size, but they do levy size and reinforcement. But the big thing is they reduce the army maintenance based on your martial skill. And it is quite a big reduction in your army maintenance. As you can see, 9% on a martial skill of 8. That is amazing. That is sexy. Ooh, that is very sexy. I'm quite often doing this, especially early on when you are not rich. You cannot raise your entire armies. Just drop it down 9%. Drop down your 9%, and then all of a sudden you can fight that war. The trained commander got a tiny bit of buff. It also affects your knight effectiveness, men-at-arms damage, and toughness. there's one problem with this. So this is going to be the same problem that you have with the Manager Royal Guards, except for the only difference between the Manager Royal Guards and the trained commanders is it's not affecting your men-at-arms toughness, and it's also not giving your commanders and knights new skills. But the trade-off of that is you can get extra knight effectiveness, and you can actually reduce your enemy hostile scheme chance, which is kind of nice. Once you go on these and you select them, as soon as you select something else, it disappears. So I just went from 8% to 0%. So that is one of the problems that you're going to have with this, is that if you need to quickly jump on to do control, it's going to disappear. There's no decaying of this percentage. It's just instantly gone, which is a tiny bit harsh in my opinion, but that's something to be very aware of. All right, another thing that I'd like to quickly go over is your court grandeur. As you can see, I have a beautiful court, the best court, literally the best court, ranked first in the world. But I have a really good court here. This is another advantage of having a high stewardship, is you can spend a boatload on your court and keep your grandeur high, which gives you a ton of bonuses. Gives you extra knight, extra renown, extra prestige, monthly lifestyle experience, and one thing that isn't said in here is stuff like endless servants. Is as you go through to do your different events, like calling a hunt, if you don't have a minimum level here, then certain options will not be available for you. So this is something I ran into, and I needed to up my servants.
Hire servants.
So I thought the exotic foods was amazing, but then I realized that some of these are going to give you different options available as you go through the different events. And it's not just calling hunts. Stuff like grand lodgings will affect stuff at your court. Now, one thing that you may have noticed when I went over the court grandeur is that renown. Stealing other realms and getting them inside your dynasty is going to be very important. If you can get a lot of kingdoms out there, set your dynasty up with a ton of kingdoms, you really can start pumping prestige into... Sorry, prestige. I keep on going back and forth on them tonight. You can really pump the renown into your dynasty. And there is one other thing that I'm trying to figure out and convince de jure territory. And basically, it seems like there's a diplomatic route to stealing territory that you're de jure liege of. However, I haven't been able to pull it off yet. Now, I've been going against the papacy, so maybe that's part of the problem. But so I'm still trying to figure that one out. See if I can steal the papacy's land without going to war with the papacy. That would be amazing if I could do that. But I hope that these tips and tricks helped you out. And if there's anything you'd like me to cover in detail or any questions you have about Royal Court, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let's, like usual, maximize that like button.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And with that, I'm going to say, have yourself a good morning, good night, and good day, wherever you are.